everyone, welcome to Sweet Tomato Vine Homestead. I'm Linda. Today I am inside the house because it is cold, has been raining a lot, and I am staying inside, but I have a lot of work that I can be doing inside, and the work I'm going to be doing today, y'all, is up-pot my tomato plants. I think they look pretty good. They are not leggy. These are the tomato plants that I replanted because I lost some of my other tomato plants when I took them outside and left them outside on a day when it got really, really cold and windy. And so I replanted these, and this is what they are looking like right now. I remember some of the ones that I lost. I lost some of my tomatillas, and I had the purple tomatillas and the green tomatillas. I lost a lot of those on my in my other round of plants. And so now I can see that I do have those replacements, those purple tomatillas. I got those. These are the purple tomatillas right here on the front. These plants right here are purple tomatillas. And then I have some green tomatillas right here. These ones right here are green tomatillas. And so those are some that I was happy to get back. Also my pink bumblebee, my purple bumblebee, and my, let's see, was it an orange bumblebee? What's the other bumblebee? It's a pink, a purple, and I can't remember what the other bumblebee is called. But I know it was a pink bumblebee and a purple bumblebee. So I have my bumblebees right here. I am out of my biodegradable pots, but I'm going to use these styrofoam cups, and I put some holes in the bottom. I have moistened my soil, and now I'm going to just prick these tomato plants out, and I'm just going to up-pot them into these styrofoam cups. And just in case I have someone who's watching who has never up-potted tomato plants or tomatillo plants, these are my tomatillo plants right here, and these are the purple tomatillas. And I am just taking my tomatillo. I'm just going to take my little styrofoam cup, making a little hole in here, and I'm going to push this tomatillo deep inside of this little hole. And I'll push my soil back in around it. I want to sit it up where my leaves are not touching the soil. Okay, so the leaves aren't touching the soil now. And so this is a up-potted tomatillo plant, and I'll do another one. You see the roots on my tomatillas. And I can just take this plant and just, as long as I don't break my plant, I can just push it into the soil and pull my soil back up around this plant. I will do one more. Okay, I'll do another one. See the roots? I'm just pushing it into the soil. Okay, so I got my purple tomatillas done. I'm gonna go ahead and do my green tomatillas, and I have about 10 cups in this container left for my green tomatillas. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those out, and I don't think I'm gonna need 10. Looks like I have about 5, so let's go ahead and pull these out. But I did have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I had 10 of the purple tomatillo plants. Okay, so these are the green tomatillo plants, and looks like I have 4 of those. That's a tiny one, but I'm going to plant it. And these ones are large size. Make sure I separate my roots without damaging my plant. Okay, so now my green tomatillo plants are up potted. So I'm going to make some labels for those. Now I'm going to start with my purple bumblebee. And I have to be real careful with these plants this time because I told y'all what happened to the last one. So I need to, this is my, chance to get these plants planted in the garden because so far I do not. So I have, looks like I only have 2 purple bumblebee tomato plants. Go ahead and get those labels. Okay, next one I'm going to do is one of my favorites. I think all of them are some of my favorites, but these pink bumblebees, y'all. Last season, I enjoyed the pink bumblebees so much. It was at the end of the season, y'all, before I realized how delicious they were. But we have 3 plants. I'm going to be very careful with these 3 plants because I have only 3. I only have 3 pink bumblebee tomato plants. But y'all, they were so delicious. They taste like a nectarine or a plum or something. So delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and make the labels for those. Okay, so I have 2 spaces left in this tray. And I'm going to put that orange jazz tomato in here since I only have 2 orange jazz tomato plants. And here is what they look like. Go ahead and separate those roots gently. And here's a space for one. Up potted right here. I have one right here. Last pot that I have left in this container. Go ahead and push that plant down in here. And go ahead and remove these bottom leaves. And that is to keep them from touching the soil. And now this tray is completely up potted. So now I'm going to start on another tray. Okay, so if you are new to gardening and this is your first time up potting some tomato plants or any other plants, be sure that whatever little containers you are using to up pot your plants in, that you have drainage holes in the bottom of your containers. And what I'm using is some of my snips. And I am just taking these snips and just putting some slits in the bottom of my cup. And this is going to make sure that the water is able to drain out of this container once these plants have been watered properly. And these holes are big enough for the water to drain and big enough that you want to make them big enough because if you make them too small, your soil will just stop those holes up. It'd be like you never put any drain holes in there and your plants will get waterlogged and they will not survive. So make sure that you're putting some drain holes in there. Make sure those drain holes are big enough to let that water out. Make sure that once you get these big holes in here, like this hole I got in here, might be a little too big. And so I'm going to make sure that I come back and check my plants, make sure that they are not drying out also. So I think most of the time, my problem most of the time is overwatering and not underwatering. But like I told you all a few weeks ago, those little cups that I have, those biodegradable cups, they will get dry really fast. So I don't think that these styrofoams will dry out as fast, but I will be keeping an eye on them because y'all, I do not want to lose these plants because it is getting down to the time now that it's almost time to get these plants planted into the garden. So if there's anything that you see that you have planted and that did not survive, or anything that you thought you planted, you did not plant, go back and pull those seeds out. Go ahead and start, getting those things planted, because this is not the end of planting. Just because we are getting our plants ready to go out into the garden now, it is not the end of planting. We still can plant something that we want to see, that we know that we need in our garden throughout. Some perennials. It is a good time to go ahead and continue to plant your perennials, because perennials are something that those things last. They come back each year. So it is different when you are planting your annuals and you know that this is a plant that it is going to be, you're going to plant it in, say for instance, it's a squash plant. It's going to be gone soon. Those things, you want to go ahead and get those planted also, but they are different from your perennials, things that you know are going to stay in your garden, things that you need. I'm going to be planting some peppermint today. Peppermint is something that I will continue to need in my garden. It is something that we are using a lot of now because we are trying to use it to control pests in the garden. And so that is something that today I'm going to be planting a whole tray of this once I finish up potting my tomatoes. I'm going to plant me a whole tray of peppermint. And I'm going to be using a tray similar to this, but it won't be this one. But I'll be using, this is how many cells, and I'll be filling all these cells because I really am enjoying the fact that I now had planted this many cells of my rosemary, and now the rosemary has germinated and it is doing really good. That's something that I know we'll be using a lot of on the homestead. So we need to have a lot of rosemary. I don't need to have to go to the nursery to look for rosemary every time I get ready to use rosemary. But rosemary also is a perennial in my garden, so it will come back year after year. So I am very excited about having these things planted. So if it's something that you know is a perennial that you know you need in your garden, don't just let these seeds sit up in the packet. I don't need these seeds in this packet. I need these seeds planted. I need these plants in my garden. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to up pot another tray of the tomato plants. I got a smaller tray ready because I told you all, like I said, I still have all these plants that are waiting to go out in the garden. So we were thinking we were going to get to plant out more plants this week, but the temperatures have gotten lower. They're back in the 40s and 50s. And so I just feel more comfortable just waiting until those temperatures are more moderate and more, until those temperatures have kind of leveled off some instead of up and down, where those plants will, possibly go into shock. They could not, but I just don't want to take the chances with all of my plants at one time. I did plant out some tomatoes. I planted out some pepper plants, but the melons and stuff like that are still inside. I still have not planted out my squash seeds. I'm going to start seeds in the garden this season. Last season, I planted a lot of, I did both. Last season, I did both. I did some plants and I started some from seed, just sowing them directly into the soil. So this year, I think I'm going to be sowing all of them in the soil. There's still a lot of work to do on the homestead, but the weather is kind of running things right now. And so when there's something that's going on that you have no control over, then you just have to kind of roll with those punches. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just relaxing, trying to take it easy, not trying to get stressed about not being able to get things in the garden right now. I'll just let it sit in there on the table. It's not in the way anymore. I decided I'm not going to be taking it out like I did last time and just taking it, and leaving it out in the garden. We don't have any upcoming events. So it's just going to be able to stay inside until the weather permits for it to go outside. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pot up the rest of these tomatoes, and then we're going to go ahead and start a tray of peppermint. Okay, I'm almost finished up potting my tomato plants, and the last ones that I have the one that I cannot think of the name of, and it is the Sunrise Bumblebee. That is the tomato that was so delicious to me last season. I can see that I have 3 plants. One of them is really tiny, so I don't know if I have some left from the other set of tomatoes that I have. I did not go through to see exactly which ones I still had. I just went ahead and I redid all of the tomatoes. So the Sunrise Bumblebee is in this bunch. And I'm going to go ahead and name the tomatoes because some people may not have been here when I did my first set of tomatoes, because I do have some new subscribers, and I am so grateful for all of you who have subscribed. I'm grateful for my new subscribers, and I am grateful for you if you have been with me for a while. I appreciate you all. I love you all very much, and I appreciate everything that you all do. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate you liking and sharing my channel. And I just wanted you all to know that I pay attention and I see you and I know that you are here and I appreciate you very much. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to name these tomatoes for the new subscribers who may not have seen when I did this first planting. I put the tomatillas in with my tomatoes, the purple and green tomatillas, and I have a Mamie Brown, a mushroom basket, Abe Lincoln, Big Red, Aroma Super Sauce, Better Boy, and that Better Boy tomato is a hardy tomato. That plant is a hardy, little strong plant. The plant was about that tall, but it was so sturdy. I like that, and I'm thinking that may prove to be a really good tomato. And so we'll see how the Better Boy does this season. I also have the Midnight Snack, a red cherry tomato, apricot zebra, Kellogg's Breakfast, Dr. Whitey's Beef Steak, Paul Robeson, Orange Accordion, Being Long tomato, Orange Jazz, the Pineapple tomato, Black Strawberry, Blueberry, Roselle tomato, Blue Cream, the Brad's Atomic Grape, the Black Cherry. I have a blackberry and I have a black cherry tomato. Then I have my Sunrise Bumblebee, the German Johnson, Raspberry tomato, the Missouri Park tomato, the Purple Bumblebee, the Pink Bumblebee, the Black Brandywine, Cherokee Purple, San Manzano, Large Red Cherry Tomato, the Delicious Tomato, Early Girl, and I have 2 German tomatoes. I have a German, I don't know if they're German. I think they both are German Johnsons, but one of them had German. I purchased those seeds from different places, so I think that both of those German tomatoes are the same, like German tomato and then German Johnson tomato. I believe they are the same. So those are my tomato varieties, and these are what I have left. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get these up potted. Then we're going to plant some peppermint. And I'm going to finish up today by I'm going to go ahead and finish up today by planting my peppermint. And I have 2 packets of peppermint seeds. And so I'm just going to be using these until I fill this tray, because I am going to plant this whole tray with peppermint. I've already filled my cells with some soil. I have some water at the bottom because I'm bottom watering. Okay, I filled my cells with soil. I've already pushed up my soil down into those cells, and then I went back over with extra soil to make sure that I have enough soil to come to the top. One thing I've noticed about this soil this time, and this is the same soil that I've been getting, but there are a whole lot more wood chips in here. But I'll just put them back in the bag. But I'd like to have a more, I like to have a more smooth soil when I'm starting seeds, because that will help your seeds to germinate better. It's harder for those seeds to push through when you got a lot of wood chips in it. So it's best to sift that soil. I did not sift this soil because I've never really had to sift this brand of soil. I've not had a lot of wood, had to worry about a lot of wood chips, but there are more wood chips in here than usual. So these peppermint seeds need light to germinate. So I will be just putting these on the top of the soil. I'm just going to be sprinkling them on. These seeds are very tiny and they are hard to see. So I'm just going to be sprinkling. Just, I can see it when I'm sprinkling. That's why I'm going to need, more. I'm going to be using the seeds in both of these packets. So I stop right here. Go ahead and open this other packet. And hopefully I can make it through this whole, hopefully I can make it through this whole container, because I did not check to see how many seeds were in this other packet. Okay, there's not very many seeds in here, so I may, let's see, let me open it up and look. Yeah, there's not very many in this packet. And I am certain that, I'm sure that I don't have any more of the peppermint seeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant half, and I don't like to plant two different seeds in a pack, you know, like this, that I don't know which one is going to germinate fast, you know, which one is going to germinate the fastest, because sometimes you just get discouraged with it and you just don't follow through. Sometimes I don't follow through on. This is where I stopped out with this, with these. This is where I stopped out with the peppermint seed. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna mark. I'm gonna put my label right here, and then I will go ahead and I will finish. I will start right here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plant something else in this. Something else that needs light to germinate. And this is Astragalus. And y'all, if you have not tried Astragalus, or have not used Astragalus, do your research on Astragalus. So the herb for today is Astragalus. And I like this herb a lot, and I use this herb a lot. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plant these Astragalus seeds in here with this peppermint. And I'll follow through on these seeds because I am very interested. I really would like to get these seeds to germinate. I think what I'm going to do, these seeds are just a little bit larger. So I'm going to put these seeds in my hand so that I won't accidentally overseed. I'm going to start right here where I left off. And put one or two in each cell until I get this tray completed. And I'm excited about getting this Astragalus to germinate, and so I will be keeping an eye on it as well as this peppermint, because I am interested, very interested in getting both of these. Okay, so I have now got my Astragalus and my peppermint planted. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make another label for my Astragalus. I think I use these smaller. Okay, so the Astragalus starts here, and it will be all the way back here. And these other, I'll put these labels on this end to let me know that this is where my peppermint is. And these plants will look different when they germinate. So hopefully I won't have any problem telling which one is which. Well, and the peppermint will have its own distinct smell also, so I don't think I have a problem knowing which seeds are which. Since these seeds need light to germinate, I will not be putting any of my vermiculite on top of them. And they already have been bottom watered. So what I'm going to do now is just take them and put them on the grow station underneath the light. I hope that you all have enjoyed this video and that you will give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And go ahead and hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload a new video. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.